Here's how to get higher click-through rates to your emails. So if you're selling an affiliate product, getting more people to click through, or you're selling your own products, getting more people to not only open your emails, but click through to the actual next page that you want, and obviously directing traffic as a result. So some of you may or may not know this, but I am predominantly known for having specializing in Facebook organic marketing and building communities and monetizing communities. And I've been pretty good at it, been able to do some pretty cool stuff. We were able to surpass millions of dollars in revenue through having very tiny communities. I managed to pass some of this knowledge on to 900 plus students at this point, some of which have been able to do pretty amazing things like surpassing $3,000 to $4,000 in revenue, cash collected with 30 to 40 people in their group. Other folks have surpassed 10,000 with less than 100 people in their group, so on and so forth. So, it's a bit of a ninja thing that you can do. But what most people don't know about me is that I actually have an email list, which is not huge by any measure of it. It's like sitting at about 1,600 subs at the time of recording. Having said that, though, I can equate to approximately $60 per subscriber per year that they remain on my list, and that equates to obviously about $5 per month. Now, the industry norm is around about $1 per subscriber per month. That's kind of like the status quo, if you will, and so obviously I'm surpassing that at this point. Now that does fluctuate. Not every month I'm pushing promotions, things like that. Really does fluctuate, and I will also say that I'm not. There are people out there that are doing significantly better than that as well. So my point with all this is that hopefully after going through this short video, you guys are going to get a couple little tips about how I structure things and how that is going to help you, get better open rates, get better click-through rates, and a couple other real ninja things to help you basically just get those clicks through to whatever it is that you're promoting. So if you're interested in moving forward and you really want to take this seriously, like I say, I am more known for other aspects of business, but email marketing is something that I've become pretty damn good at over the years. And I've actually put together something pretty cool. So if you guys want to check that out, there's a link below. It's called the Email Marketing Monetizer program, and it's just a web class that I did, which shows all my ninja hacks about how I'm able to do all this stuff and get those types of results. So highly recommend that you check that out. I'll leave a link down there for you guys to do so. But right, moving forward. So the question that was posed to me recently, someone actually replied to my email, funnily enough, and basically they were asking, to paint some context, I've just hosted a free live virtual event, and people got a ton of value out of it. I even had people saying, I've paid over $1,000 for other programs that didn't contain this type of information. So it was pretty damn good. It had a lot of energy. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed putting it on. And so basically I start off, when I'm looking to promote something, what I'll do is I will narrow the focus of the email itself. I will shift everything to the left-hand side and make the font ultra big. And effectively, what I'm looking to do is basically catering to people where they're reading, and most people are reading in mobile. And what that means is that you've got this huge, big, chunky text. It's very hard to ignore. Even certain keywords that pop up, if you happen to click on that, opens the email. You've got this big, big font. I use sometimes 18 or 20 point font. My font is Railway. It doesn't really matter what you're using, I don't think, although they've probably done conversion metrics on certain things, so go do your homework on that. I don't think that matters. I use Railway just because I've always liked it. But the idea with that is, the reason why I throw everything onto the left-hand side is I actually discovered this methodology from a guy called Caleb O'Dowd. Highly recommend you go look him up. He's a huge marketer and done some incredible things in the space as well, and relies on email as well. And so the format that he often has would be exactly that, chunking it over to the left hand side, a couple of big huge bullet points, really looking to sell the click, and then obviously a big chunky link, whether you put a raw link, so say for example it's a YouTube link, you might put something that is literally just the raw YouTube link itself, which means that people can recognize, okay, it's not taking me to some dodgy website, it's actually showing exactly what it is, so that can help with your click-through rates as well. And all I'm trying to do with that style of email is, it needs to be bang, okay, I can make a decision within half a second of opening this, whether I want to proceed and click on that link or not, right? And so that is going to help you get a higher click-through rate, especially if you're able to sell the click with a couple of bullet points and a couple of adding bold text and italics and different things there as well, highlighting certain aspects. And also the other thing that I tend to do with those types of emails is I'll mix up going from positive to negative tense. And what I mean by that is, say for example, I've got, I just bought this fancy new mouse. It's one of these weird ergonomic ones, right? And I'm still getting used to it. It's such a bizarre thing, as opposed to my chunky old thing that I used to use. Look at it, it's like a little, no, inedible. I tried. Anyways, had a lot of wine that night too, I might add. No, just kidding. So basically, let's say I'm trying to sell the idea of someone clicking through to go and inspect that particular mouse on Amazon or whatever, right? And basically, because I'd been using this other thing, I started to get like RSI on my shoulders and all that type of stuff. So, you know, I'm just trying to make my work area a little bit more ergonomical, basically. So anyways, so if I was aiming for the positive tense about going to click through to that mouse, what I would say is this ergonomic design is fits in the palm of your hand. It's easy to maneuver. You can click, there's like a tiny little button up there which will allow you to click the back button instead of having to click, you know, the back button on the actual browser tab, which is pretty cool. So it's got some real nifty features, and that is obviously beneficial, meaning that you're saving time and energy to go and find the back button, right? So that could be a positive tense. Like, here's one of the features that it happens to be a benefit. Aiming from the negative tense could be never, you know, the simple design structure that eliminates RSI, right? So I'm actually aiming at, well, hang on a minute, that's a negative thing that I've got RSI and it sucks. Repetitive strain injury, by the way, if that's unfamiliar to folks, but which I think they call it something else these days. Anyways, pointless, you get the idea. And so therefore you're aiming to deviate from the actual negative emotional, negative thing that's happening, if that makes sense, right? So that's very powerful for selling the click. So that's the reason why I do this, and especially leading up to a particular event, for example, or a launch or a promotional cycle, I'm looking to do more of those because I need it to be, hey, welcome, go here, do that thing, right? It needs to be just real short and punchy and bang to the point, and I'm aiming to get folks to go and do something else, basically. Take a specific action on that, right? Other little ninja tip on this one, write this one down, you guys will love it. Give it a test, see if it works. But basically, one of the things that you can do in order to get better better click-through rates is the link itself. If you have that matching the subject title, right, the subject line, basically. So if you have that, and let's say it was like, you know, this mouse will destroy all other Mises to pieces. You know, if I had something like that, like it's a curiosity thing, right? And then if I use that as the link itself, like click here to see why this Mies will destroy all other Mises to pieces, right? Something like that, and therefore, because it's matching the subject line, it's a subconscious thing, so it's likely to get a spike in click-through rates, right? So 2 little ninja tips. But the other format that I love is if I'm wanting to present more of a story, if I'm wanting to develop a relationship with my readers, then I am looking to take up more space, and so I put it in the middle of the page. Usually put it about I think it's 700 pixels wide. Same font, I use a big chunky font, that doesn't change. And I'm looking to write a story, and it's more story-based, where it looks to introduce a character or a situation or myself or a story around something that has happened to me. Sometimes I use comedy, sometimes I use just a bunch of alliteration because I enjoy the aspect of doing so, and I enjoy that as part of my creative expression. And what I find is with those ones, sometimes I'll put links in them, sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll just look for people to reply, and I'll make a call to action, which is just like, you know, hey, if you want my free XYZ, hit the reply button. And the reason for that is it helps with your open rates, by the way. So if I can create a situation where someone is replying to my email, it creates more of a natural conversation between you and the individual. And so one of the beautiful things about email is you're actually selling in private, behind closed doors, because no one else can see how many other people it's going out to. They can't see the conversations you're having in Messenger. You can't see if anyone else has taken that opportunity already, as opposed to if you're promoting publicly through, say, a Facebook group or page or Instagram, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all out in the open, right? Like, hey, there's 4 spots left. Okay, there's still 4 spots left, as opposed to email where you don't have that. So it actually creates more of a kind of like a sales frenzy, if you will, because of the anonymity behind it. So anyway, 2 little tips for you guys. Basically, number 1 is if you want to sell the click, an easier way to do that is aim for both positive and negative tense in the bullet points. Negative tense is going to elicit a different response for people, right? If you're pulling away from the pain point, like, hey, you'll never experience RSI ever again, or your bank account will never be the same. That's probably not a good example, but you get the idea. Sell the click, and then if you're wanting to build more of a relationship with your readers, highly recommend you either sell the click onto something like a YouTube video, for example, or you just map it out and you put it wider and you just create that space. And so therefore, yeah, you're going to get less readership through that, but that's the point. You're actually aiming to impact less people, but get them to be more absorbed in those types of stories along the way. And what you'll find is the dynamics of mixing these two up, it keeps it fresh. It's not something that's like all like the same thing every single time. It mixes the environment up for your readers, and that can create a very powerful asset for your brand. So that's it for me today, guys. I'm going to get this loaded up, and you guys have a good one. Hopefully this makes sense. Go check out that thing below. It is an absolute piece of mastery, and if you're involved in email marketing, or you're looking to get involved in email marketing, this will categorically help you sell more, and do so in a more efficient way, based on 13 plus years of me being involved in this industry and putting all my ninja tips in this little masterclass. Go check that out, and you guys have a good one. See you in the next one. Cheers.